The World Series is over. The offseason has officially begun. Hello, guys. My name is Nicholas Earl, and welcome back to another edition of Baseball Talk with your old brothers. And today, we are going to be breaking down important dates you guys need to know if you want to follow the MLB offseason. Now, I know the World Series just ended, and spring training is months away. But there's a lot that goes on in between there, as we'll be discussing with when free agency starts and GM meetings, owner meetings, qualifying offers, non-tender deadlines, winter meetings, draft lottery, Rule 5 draft, arbitration, and then we'll eventually get to spring training as well. So on the we are recording this on the 4th. The World Series ended on the 1st. So 5 days after the World Series ends is when free agency begins. Currently, though, we are seeing teams offer options and stuff like that, team options and team options, player options, mutual options are all being discussed during this week as well. But if you're a free agent coming up here, like a Pete Alonso, I'm just using him as an example, only the Mets can talk to Pete Alonso for the first 5 days after the World Series ends. Only the Yankees can talk to Cody Bellinger. Only the Astros can talk to Framber Valdez and try to negotiate deals before free agency officially begins and other teams can talk to them. 5 days after the World Series ends is when we'll start seeing some players sign. November 10th through the 13th is when the GM meetings happen. It's just them. You might see a few trades come from this. It's just they're laying the groundwork of the potential offseason, start discussions on certain trades and certain players, things along those lines. Very similar with the owners meeting as well. Owners meeting, they're saying it could be very notable this year because they do know the collective bargaining agreement expires at the end of 2026. So this could be something where they start to discuss things along those lines. We probably won't get too much news out of the owners meeting. But they do have those. Those are in New York from the 18th to the 20th. The GM meetings are the 10th to the 13th. On November 18th is the deadline for players to accept or reject qualifying offers. Now, in order to receive a qualifying offer, you're going to have to become a free agent, and you've never received one before. Go back to Pete Alonso. He received one last year. He's not eligible for one this year. But someone like a Dylan Cease is. So, and that generally dampens the market on some free agents. Now, some, if you're a big enough caliber player, no, the teams don't care. Like a Juan Soto last year, they don't care about giving up draft picks in order to sign you on with a qualifying offer extended. But we've seen other times in the past where qualifying offers definitely dampen the market for a player, and they end up re-signing with that team for a year or two. So the qualifying offers and things along those lines, November 18th. For reference, I think the only one that accepted a qualifying offer last year was Nick Martinez of the Cincinnati Reds. So you probably won't see a ton of those accepted this year at all. It's just a team's way to protect themselves if that free agent were to walk in free agency. So they will. So that's what they'll do there. On November 21st, you'll see a lot of players get non-tendered. Those are players that they have fewer than 6 years of major league experience and must be tendered to a contract to be on the 40-man roster. If you don't want a player on your 40-man roster by November 21st, you have to non-tender them, which means you give up the rights to them and they can go out. They basically become a free agent, or they can go elsewhere because you do not tender them a contract. Now, some cases, players will be non-tendered, but they won't be offered a contract, and then the team that non-tendered them can turn around and re-sign them. Some players that were non-tendered last year was like a Griffin Canning. He was non-tendered by the Braves, and he signed with the Mets. So there are that will be a decent thing to watch is players that get non-tenured. Maybe they're just too expensive. for a team to sign. Maybe they're going up in arbitration. They don't think it's worth it. They'll non-tender them. Another team can sign them. Things along those lines. December 8th to the 11th are the MLB winter meetings. You'll see probably a decent amount of trades during this time because a lot of the owners and the GMs will be in Orlando, Florida for a few days talking and interacting with other GMs and other owners. You generally see a decent amount of action during the winter meetings. You'll see big time trades happen. Like if Tariq Skubal gets traded this offseason, don't be shocked that it's during the winter meetings. That's kind of what the winter meetings are for. It's for GMs and owners to discuss business and trades and contracts and stuff like that. So don't be surprised. December 8th to the 11th is when you'll probably see a lot of trades happening as well. On December the 9th, the lottery will be performed for the 2026 MLB draft. We'll find out who gets the number 1 overall pick, the number 2 pick, the number 3 pick. We'll find out the draft order for the 2026 MLB draft on December the 9th. I believe the White Sox have the best chance at winning the draft lottery this year. December 10th is Rule 5. And the Rule 5 draft does take place during the winter meetings. Certain minor league players who are not on a 40-man roster are available. You can only protect a certain amount of players. And the thing is, if you get drafted during the Rule 5 draft, you must be on the 40-man roster for the full season. If you cannot be sent down. If you are sent down as a Rule 5 pick, you will be returned to the team that you were previously a part of. And these are players that I believe have been in the minor leagues for at least 5 years, if I remember right. Hence the Rule 5 draft. I believe that's what it is. So the Rule 5 draft, so basically a minor leaguer draft, but we've seen some players come out of the Rule 5 draft. We saw the first All-Star since Dan Uggla last season out of the Rule 5 draft with the White Sox, Shane Smith. So sometimes you'll get some decent performers. A lot of the times they're players that'll be that last man in the bullpen that you want to develop or something like that, or that last bench bat that you want to develop a little bit and take a chance on. The Rule 5 draft takes place on December the 10th. And then in February is when arbitration figures are exchanged and accepted. Players in their 4th to 6th year on their entry-level contract. So the first 3 years are league minimum. And then your 4th, 5th, and 6th year are your arbitration years. ARB 1, ARB 2, ARB 3. Players in arbitration, them and their agent brings a number to the table, comparing it to previous players. And then the team brings in a number. Those will be decided in February. Sometimes they're decided sooner, but that's the deadline for when arbitration numbers are figured out, is in the February era. Not a specific date for that. It's just all through February because some teams have different dates than other teams. And then in mid-February, pitchers and catchers report, and spring training begins about a week later. So after all that, we have an action-packed offseason. January is when things become a little dead because there's not as many. There's nothing that goes on in January, but we have plenty going on in December. Also, don't forget, during November, awards are given out and things along those lines. So we already know, like, finalists for MVP, finalists for Silver Sluggers, finalists for Cy Young Awards. Those will all be announced during November as well. But these are the important off-season dates from free agency, GM meetings, owner meetings, qualifying offer deadlines, non-tender deadlines, winter meetings, draft lottery, Rule 5 draft, arbitration, and then, of course, spring training beginning in February. That's going to do it for this one, though. Just wanted to give a little breakdown of what to expect during the offseason. Tomorrow, I think I want to dive into the top 3 Japanese free agents that are coming over from the MPB. So maybe I want to look at Munetaka Murakami, Tatsuya Imai, and Kazuma Okamoto. I kind of want to take a look at those 3 guys, what to expect from them, where they can potentially go. I want to potentially do some free agent predictions in a little bit here too as well. So got a few video ideas that I'm going to be looking to do within the next few days. But that's going to do it for this one. I want to thank you guys as always for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace out, guys.